Do me a favor. There's a guy with the channel, Duke Oden. That's DUKEODEN 7458. He talks boxing a little bit, and he's new to the YouTube game as far as the boxing channel is concerned. Check him out. Check out some of his videos, and he's an up and comer. He's a good kid, man, and I know he leaves comments often on my YouTube page, so YouTube channel. So check out Duke Oden 7458. I gotta ask him about the significance of those numbers next time we chat online, but check him out. Encourage him to keep it up, and give him some views. Check his channel out, and you know what I mean, follow him. All right. Shout out to my man Victor Atkinson also. That's my dude. It was, I guess you can call it Headbutt City in the theater last night in Los Angeles, as in the, first of all, in the co-feature, Raymundo Beltran. He goes by Ray Beltran these days, and I have to wonder if he shortened his name to Ray for reasons of citizenship, which I'll get into a little bit later. Beltran won a 10-round close decision, 10-round majority decision over Brian Vasquez. And in the fight, very entertaining scrap, by the way. Beltran, he landed the cleaner shots, and to be honest, that may have been the difference in this fight. The scores were 96-94 twice, and 95 all on the third card. A headbutt caused a nice gash in the middle of Beltran's forehead, and the blood leaked abundantly. Good news for him, it happened in the final round, but clearly he was being blinded by the blood that just kept flowing out in the 10th and final round. Right before the end of the fight, Vasquez took advantage of it, actually, and he landed a left hook with about 10 seconds left that got, it hurt, got Beltran's attention for sure. And then right as the bell rang, there was this follow-up volley of combinations that once again hurt Beltran so much that as after the bell rang, when Beltran walked back to his corner, he was on shaky legs. So it was too late though for Vasquez, who's not a puncher, but he certainly found an opportunity there, and it would have been interesting to see what would have happened had it continued. Even though it was too late, I certainly would like to see if any of the judges gave Beltran the final round, because if they did, then I'm sure that Vasquez would feel a certain way. He felt he won the fight just based on the celebrating he did right after the final bell, but I need to see if I can get a hold of those scorecards round by round, just to see if Beltran should consider himself fortunate that that cut didn't happen earlier. So Vasquez also said that he hurt his left hand early on. I think he said the third round. So, and if he did, it came as a blessing to Beltran, who is still fighting for full citizenship in the U.S. And oddly, it seemed that Beltran was going to get full citizenship after his last fight, which was on the Golovkin-Jacobs undercard, when he brutally put to an end his fight with the kid Marcelo. I'll leave a video of that below. And in the actually in the video after the knockout, look at the comedian Tracy Morgan. Look at his reaction, and then check out the dude right next to him, who had like that deer in front of headlights look when he looked at, like, and it basically showed both of their reactions to the left hook. I mean, sweet left hook right on the button and put Marcelo out. And Tracy Morgan was like, wow, but his buddy, was just, it's like it's the first knockout he's ever seen in his life, man. It was funny. His expression was just like a deer right in front of those headlights, right before it's about to get hit by a car. So Beltran had 4 knockouts in a row. He was seeking his 5th, and he was letting that. He was dropping everything, right hands, but he's letting that left hook go. You're talking about a desperate man, and a desperate man is dangerous. And he's adamant in his quest for citizenship. Right now, Beltran has what you call a work visa, but at age 36, the clock is ticking, and he needs to get his living situation rectified as soon as possible. Now, I have to wonder if they're going to tell him, well, we need one more win, Ray, and you're going to have to step up and to a Lomachenko or a Garcia, Mikey Garcia, or Jorge Linares, and if you get that win, you will become naturalized. Well, I tell you, I just hope this guy doesn't get pimped by the system. I'm gonna leave his knockout video below of Marcelo. In the main event, the silly high-tech Lomachenko versus the always rough, rugged, and raw Miguel Marriaga. You know, part of the reason I might not do that, I don't do a lot of YouTube videos, and then I might stop. It's just, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but it's just the uneducated boxing opinion of so many of these YouTube, I don't know what to call them, channels. They're bloggers. I mean, they're not necessarily journalists. They've never written a story in their life. They don't get credentialed to double-digit fights per year, outside of getting a favor from a boxer they may have interest in, who looks out for them in exchange for writing or doing good videos about them. That's just not how the game works. And people who refer to Marriaga as a bum or a nobody without understanding his history in fights, those are the type of people I'm talking about. And they're like, man, if Lomachenko can't get this guy out of here, and I'm like, nobody's been able to get the guy out of there. Nicholas Walters couldn't do it. Oscar Valdez went life and death with him going into the final 2 rounds. So to not know the history of Marriaga, to not do your homework and actually study guys, study their styles, their opponents, their history, the backgrounds, whatever, however you want to put it. Listen, his odds weren't great, but that doesn't put him in a bum category. He's a world-class fighter. He's a guy with power, big-time power. And as I stated, super prospect Oscar Valdez went life and death with this guy for most of his fight. In the fight, I just these uneducated comments about people who have agendas. It makes those who truly cover the sport and know a little bit about what they're talking about cringe and frustrated to the point where they may go back to writing and or just not covering the sport. To sum this fight up, Lomachenko's body work simply took the gas out of Marriaga, who couldn't continue. The thing that amazes me about Lomachenko is he's like Spider-Man or some other kind of superhero in there. No matter what you do to move or to create distance, he doesn't just follow you. He doesn't just cut the ring off, but he stays on top of you. I've never seen a guy do this. If it's a guy who's 3-4 weight classes bigger than the opponent on fight night, yes, but even still, as you move to back off, he stalks you and does what he has to do. But Lomachenko stays on you, man. It's hard to. You just gotta watch some of his fights. Just watch, and there are not many that you have to watch. I would say maybe his last 4 or 5 fights. The way that he just one step, 2 steps you, and he's just you can't get away. There's no escape. So it's impossible to beat this guy going backwards. It can't be done. And then if you stand there toe to toe with him, he picks you apart from unheard of angles. I mean, don't get me wrong. He toyed with a fighter last night, but he toyed with a world-class fighter. And it appears he clearly was instructed to be more entertaining, I guess in an effort to please fans and hopefully gain some clamor for a big fight or what have you. Because the guy keeps moving up because he can't get title unifications or big fights. Now, that may come back to haunt him one day, moving up instead of trying to force the issue with guys, even guys who don't want to fight them. Maybe offering more, taking short money, being creative with the negotiations. I understand his job isn't to negotiate, he just fights, but he wants the big fights. I mean, the guy has 10 fights, and he's a 2-time world champion. And what did he beat? Gary Russell Jr.? What was it? Was he like 1-1 or something when he beat Jr.? And I don't know. As I stated, it may come back to haunt him, but for now, I can't see it. So if he moves up again, yet again, to take on a Mikey Garcia, I'll have to favor Lomachenko in that one. I think his footwork would give Mikey nightmares. He had fun in there with Marriaga, maybe a little too much fun, as the hard-hitting Colombian, excuse me, cracked him a few times with some good shots and left his mark under one of Lomachenko's eyes. And then Marriaga also scored with a nice hit, but in the last minute of the 4th round that kind of marked Lomachenko up. So that's going to take a little time to heal. Nevertheless, Vasily Lomachenko is the most skilled boxer I've ever seen live. I think I've seen him live think I've seen him live 3 times. Is it 4? I've seen him live 3 times, and he might be the most skilled fighter I've seen on television too. I mean, he has options, and while Orlando Salido has priced himself out of a rematch, Lomachenko can go quite a few directions in his career. A few bad things about the card. First of all, his name is Vasily, not Vasil or Vasil. And it's Lomachenko, not Lomachenko. There's an old saying, hey, say what you want, just get my name right. And it's funny because some guys in the same sentence would say Vasil and then Vasily. And it's like, come on guys, which one is it? HBO took a couple of bouts and then they got it right and everybody was on the same page, and I guess it'll be the same for ESPN, minus Teddy Atlas, who will just botch a name no matter what. Another takeaway, Jerry Jones gave what may have been the longest speech in NFL Hall of Fame history, and as a result it delayed the broadcast of the boxing card, and then so the boxing card kind of said, okay, we'll switch over to ESPN too. But not everybody reads that stuff going across the screen at the bottom of ESPN, because it's going across the screen all night long. So it's like eventually you stop paying attention to it unless you're looking for something specific. If they could have just ran it across the middle of the screen saying, for those who want to tune into boxing, turn to ESPN2, I think it would have helped as far as the broadcast is concerned. So maybe Jerry Jones was taking a shot at Bob Arum for past business interest disappointments, maybe? Vasily Lomachenko's amateur record is 396 wins, 1 loss, not 395 wins, 1 loss. Another mistake by ESPN. Also, Michael Buffer blew, absolutely blew, Vasily's ring entrance to that Matrix song. He blew it badly. And while ESPN kind of gave Michael Buffer the wrong cue or the wrong signal, Buffer isn't new to this, and he knew what the deal was, but so be it. And lastly, Screamin' A. Smith knows nothing about boxing that someone doesn't tell him. I don't think he does enough research. I don't think he understands. They should have someone in that booth that understands boxing. And then if you want Screamin' A. Smith in there as like a third wheel, fine, keep him there. He brings value, I get it, but not, man, look. Check yourself, bro. Now, ESPN gave great coverage during the week, and they seem to be all in for boxing. Seem to be. They had that sit-down show with Bob Arum, and Bob, they let the Bob father just do his talking. What you want? You wanna build this deal that you have with ABC and ESPN, and then they showed the weigh-in on Friday, the Lomachenko Marriaga weigh-in, which is good. I mean, fans love. If fans could be, you know, when I used to go to the big fights in Vegas, well, I still go to them, but it's just different these days. I'd fly in maybe Wednesday, check out some of the gyms, Thursday, do my own thing, Friday, was the weigh-in and what have you. Saturday was the fight, but it was always all about the weigh-in. The weigh-ins would be bananas, and the fights were what they were. They were either good or most of the time overhyped, but the weigh-ins, that was the big part of the weekend. So if fans can't be there, if they can watch it, like ESPN showed it, especially when you got two opponents who don't like each other, or countrymen that are rowdy or what have you, it just makes for good television if you can't be there. So that was a good move by ESPN, but they have to let the public know ahead of time that they're going to do it. And then they also showed Terrence Crawford's full fight with Hank Lundy, and that's building things up for Terrence Crawford's fight in 2 weeks on ESPN. It was a very well produced show too, as they kind of showed segments of leading up to the fight, which displayed the bad blood between the two guys, Crawford and Lundy. Then they followed that up showing the full fight between Lomachenko and Martinez. Not as well produced, but ESPN appears to be all in. So we'll see how long that lasts. I think the post-fight thing with Screaming A. Smith and whoever else was scrapped after Lomachenko's fight due to the Hall of Fame thing going past its time. So they kind of cut right to Sports Center. I don't know if they did a follow-up, an epilogue, whatever you want to call it, but we'll see. I'm hoping they do one for the Terrence Crawford and Dongo fight in 2 weeks, because it represents a historical significance as it'll produce the first undisputed champion in many years. At least we think it will. There's been rumors of last-minute shenanigans abound, so we'll see. Anyway, Iceman John Scully, he had a fundraising benefit in Harlem yesterday to raise money for Gerald Mcclellan. If you don't know who Gerald Mcclellan is, he was one of the best power punchers in boxing history. Excuse my voice, guys. Here we go again. He was trained by Emanuel Stewart, and he took on feared puncher Julian the Hawk Jackson when nobody wanted to fight Jackson. And you know what? He did it twice, and he stopped Jackson both times. Well, McClellan's career was tragically ended when he fought Nigel Benn, as 17 million plus people watched. When you look at it, the bout came close to ending in the first round when McClellan knocked Nigel Benn through the ropes in the first round. And he also knocked Nigel Benn down in the 8th round, but Ben got up both times. I think people were critical of the referee, who kind of did a few things in his power to help Nigel Benn throughout the fight, including the 2 times he was knocked down. And that's the argument that people are making on Gerald's behalf. In the 10th round, McClellan kept blinking like something was wrong. He just his eyes just kept blinking, and so he took a knee as Nigel Benn started to land some power shots. And he got up, but he didn't throw any punches, and eventually he went and dropped down to a knee again, and he let the referee count him out. So as McClellan got up, he kind of he walked over to his corner, kind of leaned down, and eventually he fell back and lay there and lost consciousness. So got rushed to the hospital. They removed a blood clot from his brain, and he was in a coma for numerous days. Came out of the coma, but as we speak today, Gerald Mcclellan is blind. He's almost deaf. He's nearly deaf. He can't walk, and the care for him, it costs big time amount of money. And a foundation was set up, and you got good people like Iceman Scully, who haven't forgot about Gerald Mcclellan. And he had a fundraiser in Harlem yesterday. Some boxing paraphernalia went on sale. I think some items are still up for sale, and you can check Iceman Scully out on Facebook, as well as go to his YouTube channel, which I'll leave below. And I'll leave one of Scully's videos below, as a lot of boxers came out to support the cause yesterday in Harlem. So when you get some time, watch some videos of Gerald Mcclellan, even if it's just knockout highlight videos that he has. I'm telling you, he was a monster in the ring that very few people were trying to see. Nobody wanted to see him if they didn't have to. He could box, but knockout power was his game, and more often than not, Gerald's fights would finish before the final bell. Very good fighter, two-time middleweight champion. He beat Sanderline Williams. He beat John the Beast Mugabe, Julian Jackson twice. And if you wish to donate, contact Iceman Scully on Facebook, or you can leave a comment under his YouTube videos. I'll leave a video, and you can just select his name to see other videos. I think John likes Facebook a lot more than, in my opinion, he likes Facebook a lot more than YouTube. He's very active with his comments. I talk to John often on Facebook. I text him. If you want to get in contact with him and talk to him personally, I can set that up for you. John wasn't a bad, Iceman Scully wasn't a bad boxer either. He gave my man Michael second to none, a good, one of his best fights. So I'm gonna leave it here, and I'm gonna do another video about 3 guys that boxing lost the other day to retirement: Vladimir Klitschko, Juan Manuel Marquez, and Timothy Bradley Jr. I'm gonna just do another video on that one, just to talk briefly on what their accomplishments in boxing. We'll catch you on the next one.